Hey guys, Average Joe here. I'm back after about a little over a 3-week hiatus. As many of you know, my dad passed away on September 30th, and I just didn't have it in me to do videos for the last couple weeks. But I'm getting back in the groove, and also on the email side, on the invoice side, I started getting those back out again about a week and a half ago, and making sure that they get answered and that you get your invoices. But I've got a long way to go. I'm backed up enough that I'll be spending the next week at least catching up on answering your questions, sending out your invoices, and also sending out the 552 Series 1 remaining kits and the 552 Series 2 kits that are in production right now. And for you 1090 owners, those will be going into production in about a week and a half. So, US kits, by the way. So what I wanted to do in this video is just cover something about the dials that I didn't in a previous video. In the previous video about difficulty turning the dials, I covered when the assembly is too tight. When you tighten these bolts too much on either end, you end up with an assembly that's so tight that this dial rubs on this crossbar, and it also rubs on the base, and it makes this thing really hard to turn. You'll be struggling with it. First of all, if it's that hard to turn, stop, because you will break the plastic teeth on this dial, and then you end up having to buy a new dial. So don't force it. If it doesn't turn like this, then it's too tight, or there's another issue. So I already covered tightening and making sure that this assembly is not too tight in a different video. I'm going to cover something different today, and it has to do with your plates. Now, this set has a perfect set of plates. There's nothing wrong with them, and as a result, I can turn this dial easily, any direction. It can go both directions, and then I can set it to whatever I need, say 10 pounds, and everything works as I would expect it to work. But a couple people reported that after they assembled their upgrades, that they would go to turn their dial and they couldn't turn it either at all. So they were, trying to force it and it wasn't moving, or they could turn it to a certain setting, let's say 30, but they couldn't turn it past 30. They tried to get to 35 and they couldn't do it, but they could go down. And then when we got to another one, let's say 50, they couldn't do it. And so they would these couple people said that there was this range that they couldn't get to after they installed their upgrade. And I tried to figure out what could possibly result in something so strange where you can turn the dial freely, but then get to somewhere and it wouldn't turn anymore. And one of the things that I've seen that contributes to that, but it's not on every set, it's not even on every dumbbell, it's not even on every side of every dumbbell. It can happen on this side, but not happen on this side. It can happen on this dumbbell, but not on another dumbbell. Or, like with this set, it might not happen at all. And it's this. Gotta turn this to 5. Take that weight out. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's take a look at how these plates interact with these discs. And I don't think I've shown you this, maybe in an old video, but I want to show you again. So basically, when you put your disc into, or your dumbbell down into your disc, this is what you've got. You've got a rotating assembly, and I've tightened up the tolerance here so that this isn't going to be all rattly, but you've got this rotating assembly, and on the other side that assembly interacts with this tab. So as you're turning, each tab decides if it's going to hold a plate or not. If it rotates like this, that means this plate's locked in. If it rotates like this, that means the plate can come out and it won't be lifted up when you lift up your handle. But what happens when this plate has some sort of issue? Many issues. It can be damage to the edge of the plastic on the bottom of the plate, damage to the tab. It can be that there's debris down in the base in these slots that cause this plate to sit too high or too low in the base. When that happens, I'll show you something that happens with this. So this is a perfect setup, right? When this spins, it passes the tab. But if this disc is a little bit too high in the base, I cannot turn this wheel. So let me demonstrate what that means here in an actual base. First, we put our handle into the base, and I know this one's working perfectly. I can go to any setting I want, let's say 30 pounds, and I can lift my 30 pounds out, put my 30 pounds back, and put it back to 5. Okay, take my handle out. Now, I am going to simulate on one of these plates. I'll pick this one. Okay, it doesn't make a difference which one I pick. I'm going to simulate having either debris down in here. One guy had a ball bearing down under his plate. It happens, you know. It's just it as long as you figure it out, that's all that matters. But there was debris down inside here, and it meant that his plate wasn't sitting down fully inside the base. Other people have damage to the underside of their plates. Or plates that have just worn in some funky way that I've never seen before, that causes the plate not to sit properly inside this base. It must sit properly because this tab has to be at a very specific height inside this frame in order for the discs to turn properly. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to simulate debris or damage to the plate down inside the base. When I put this in, this plate, you might not be able to tell, but this plate is ever so slightly, about 3/4 to 1 millimeter higher than it should be. It's sitting up in the frame. When that happens, you can still slide your handle. So, you know, that goes in. But now, watch what happens. When I go to turn this, I can't turn it. What's happening is that this, the lip is getting caught on the tab of this one. And I can even show you, if I remove all the other plates, and I put this handle in, I still can't turn it because this plate is the problem. This assembly is not the problem. This is all very tight, strict tolerances that interact with everything else. But this plate is not where it needs to be and not positioned in the way that it needs to be positioned. And so it causes this to not turn. Now watch, take the handle out. Let's get rid of that, you know, fake defect that I put in on this set. So we took this out. Let's put this plate back in. Notice it's solo. There are no other plates there. And we're going to put this in. And now this turns freely. So when you install your upgrade, I make a recommendation to people on how to figure out, first of all, if you did it correctly, but also to isolate any problem plate in your dumbbell. And the way that I recommend is take all of your plates out, everything. So we're going to take, and this is both sides, take them all out. Okay, now start putting first put your dumbbell on with nothing. When it's on with nothing and fully seated, these will turn. I'm going to have to hold this handle here, but these will turn, okay, freely. I'm going to come over here. Also turns freely, okay? So that is because everything's seated properly, and of course there's no plates in here. Now take your handle out. Put your first dumbbell in, or weight in, okay? Both sides. Now repeat the process. Put your handle in. Try to turn your handles. They should turn freely. Then put it to a weight that you know is going to pick this up. So let's put it to 52.5. We know for a fact that 52.5 will pick this up. So there you go. You should have no problem with that. Put it back to 5. Take your handle out, and you've got a choice. You can either add 2 more plates or check the next plates. So however you want to do it, you can do it like this. Okay, take these 2 out, put in our next 2. Same process. Okay, put it to a weight that you know is going to lift the plate, 52.5. And these are in there. You can actually see the clearance on these. It's nice in here. Do it again. 5 pounds, 5 pounds. Take your handle out. Next set of weights. However you want to do it. You can take these weights out, put the other ones in, put multiple plates in. All I'm trying to do here is isolate if there's any problem with any particular plate in this dumbbell. Where the plate is damaged or incorrect in some way that it's preventing proper operation. So again, everything turns fine. Everything turns fine. And then put it on 52.5. Try it out. Put it back on 5. Take your handle out. And I keep doing this through the entire process. Now, of course, I already know that this works with all the plates, but you don't. If you've never had the upgrade on your dumbbells yet, you're going to want to go through this process to make sure it works with your plates and to identify if there's a problem plate. A few videos back, you might remember that I had one customer who, his second largest plate, this one, had some warpage, some strange wear on the plate itself that caused just these plates to be a problem. But it can show up in many forms. It's not just the, that you accidentally tighten these too much. That's one of several types of issues that you can potentially find about your assembly. So anyway, you can run through from your biggest plates in pairs, so make sure that you're always checking in pairs Run through from your biggest plates all the way out to your smallest plates, and make sure that you place the handle in, try rotation, and also try lifting. And make sure that you can get the weights out and get the dumbbell back out afterward. Okay? Do not use your dumbbells until you do this. That way you can be sure that you assembled the handle correctly, but you can also be sure that all of your weights have no issues with the upgrade. If a specific weight has an issue with the upgrade, the easiest way to address it is to get another plate. Then, if you're not the do-it-yourselfer type, and you just don't want to deal with trying to figure out how this plate is, worn or ruined, you can get another plate. If you're more like me, you just you want to try to figure it out yourself, look for the things that I talked about. Any kind of deformity on the plates, any kind of damage to the seams, if this is separating here, if this is chewed up, if this is chewed up in any way, if this inside here has any sort of debris, doesn't make a difference. As I showed you before, even a 0.5 millimeter of debris, wood chips, anything that fall in here and prevent this disc, this plate from sitting fully down inside the base. Okay, so yeah, this is the most effective way that I have found to make sure after you've installed your upgrade that all of your discs are functioning properly with the upgrade. And if one is not functioning properly, then you'll be able to identify the specific plate or plates that are the problem. But for a fully, correctly assembled, fully functional dumbbell, you should be able to set these puppies on 5, put that in, and have no problem turning these handles both directions, both sides. And you should have no problem with it picking up the appropriate weights when you have it set to the expected setting. So hopefully that helps you guys, Series 1 owners. Definitely check out your plates. Once you put the upgrade in, this upgrade, it's precision milled. So this doesn't change. It's the sets that change. And if your set has some sort of idiosyncrasy, then you may need to investigate that in order to see how or what is causing it to prevent the proper, where you're trying to tug on this dial or anything like that. Okay, you should be able to turn it nice and easily at all times, just like original. Okay, so in the next video I am going to talk about the loose assemblies. I know a couple people mentioned that they had assemblies that are so loose that their ball bearings are falling out. And I'll make another separate video for that, the next one, talking about why that might be the case and how you likely can resolve it. So thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for your patience, and have a great day. I will see you in the next video.